Hi everyone, so this is a really special episode of the Sketchy Bitches Podcast, recorded at our special Sketch the Rainbow event to celebrate International Women's Day 2021. Welcome. Okay, Sue.
You want me to talk about myself?
Who are you? Where are you?
I'm here. Here I am. Hello.
How do you describe yourself?
I'm a crazy old woman from the Bronx.
Oh, that's it.
I live for color. I live for art. I'm an accidental artist. I never expected this to happen to me. I wrote 27 cookbooks. Before that, oh, hi, Michelle. Oh,
Hi, Sue.
So much fun.
I put these for you.
Rubber duckies. This is so much fun.
Glasses.
So I was born with a rainbow in my head, and I don't know why, because my parents were very dull people color-wise. And I always loved art. My mother used to drag my sister and me through the museums, MoMA and the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but she was always angry, and she would stop speaking to us. It was very bizarre. And we'd be trudging along in agony. And I'd look at the things on the wall. This started from when I was 4 right up until I was maybe 11 or 12. And I'd look at the stuff on the walls, especially MoMA, and I would feel the art connecting with me. I would feel it protecting me. I would feel it talking to me. Rousseau, especially. There are 2 amazing Rousseaus in MoMA, and I feel like they're relatives of mine. And I lived in those paintings when I was small. So I always loved art and color, but I knew that I couldn't do it myself. I was a pretty good student. My mother was expecting me to be good in everything, but I wasn't good in art. I always failed art. I could not do what they wanted me to do, so I just gave up. I loved art, I loved color, but I couldn't do it myself. And when I went through menopause, which was a good 20 years ago, something happened to me. I had an epiphany. I still don't know what happened. I've said this story so many times, so forgive me if you've heard it before. I was sitting up in my study correcting the proofs of my 27th cookbook. It turned out that was my last cookbook. And my hand picked up a marker and drew a mermaid on a piece of scrap paper. I'd never done anything like that before in my entire life. It was a very folk arty mermaid. It had a fish for a hat. She was entwined with snakes. I looked at her and she looked at me, and my life changed forever. I became a different person. And I have to say, she was in charge and not me. And I became obsessed with drawing. That was the moment I realized there are no rules. Don't think about somebody looking at it and judging and say, that's not good. That's the way you're supposed to do it. No, it comes not from the head, not from the heart, but from the guts. And that was the way it was for me. It was wild. And ever since then, I've been an artist. I've been absolutely obsessed with drawing and then with sculpting and making assemblage sculptures. And it is the best thing that ever happened to me. I am endlessly grateful. Now I curate shows. I exhibit all over the world. I mentor young and old artists as well. And this is my life, and always entwined in it, always, is color. That's the main part of my life. When I moved into my own apartment in 1962, escaped from my family, and I painted the walls red, and I hung things all over the place. And my mother came to lunch, and she looked at the red walls, and she said, you'll outgrow it. Hey, Ma, I'm 81 years old. I haven't outgrown it yet. So I guess this is my life. My life is art and it's color. Sorry, a very long answer to a very short question.
It's a great. We still don't know where you are, though, Sue. You're in London, right?
I'm in London. I'm in my art flat.
Yeah, I'm going to have a little look around that in a minute or in a few minutes. Thanks,
yeah,
Sue.
This is like the inside of my brain, this place.
Yeah. How's your creativity helped you this year?
The whole lockdown thing has been fascinating. And at the very beginning of the first quarantine, my husband got very, very sick. And sometimes I'm in London and he's in Cambridge. And this was one of the times when I was in London. My son rushed over there to be with him. It turned out he had really bad case of COVID. I mean, he's 81 years old. And he was rushed to the hospital, but Sean, my son, could not go with him, of course. Nobody can. It was awful. And I was here in London. I'm extremely vulnerable because of my age and because I have heart disease. I had to stay in. I mean, I wasn't even going to the grocery store. So it was a hideous, horrible time. And we'd call and try to find somebody, the nurse on duty, the doctor, somebody, the resident, to tell us how he was. And we were told in the beginning that it was the worst they ever saw. His lungs, they said he's probably not going to make it. It was very traumatic. And then every day I would try to talk to somebody, and Sean would try to talk to somebody. And it was kind of like having Schrodinger's husband. The spoiler, he survived. He's okay. He survived, but he was in the hospital for 5 weeks. And Schrodinger's husband, is he alive? Is he dead? We don't know. He's alive and dead at the same time. We have no idea. And that was the time you did that first, was it Sketch the Rainbow? And Sophie and I and Elizabeth and people I really loved. And Florent.
Yeah,
it's my community. Every day a different one, looking amazing. So I sat in my chair with my phone right next to me, so I could call and receive calls, and I drew. Your focus just narrows, and I spent the time drawing, and I found out something interesting about my art. Because I draw goddesses. It's all about the female landscape, my drawings, and I draw these private mythology goddesses. I found out I could actually draw other people. I drew Florent, I drew Aunt Sophie. You could know it was them. It was a real breakthrough for me, and it kept me sane while I was waiting for something to happen. Eventually he came home, he was fine. I had to stay here while he was there with my son. Now, and soon this damn quarantine is going to be over. I hope. But after that, I drew or sculpted or made neck shrines, which I'm quite obsessive about, every single day. Every single day I make something. It's very hard not to make anything, that drive to create. So it's been a lifesaver, really. And how can you be bored? There's always something to do. Always.
I'm going to show you. So this was one of the pictures that ended up in my plug for the book. That's the pictures that we drew of you in the challenge, in the Sketch the Rainbow challenge.
Yeah,
and then that was some of the pictures of your friends that you mentioned, Grace and Elizabeth and Florent. So yeah, it's fab.
Yeah, all the friends in my heart. Yes, that's my
Sophie.
I drew that one, and it's immediately obvious who it is. And it's good. It's good.
I know you touched on it, Sue, just then about your experiences when you sort of drew, your mermaid moment, as I refer to it, when the muse bit you on the bum, or however you say it. But you mentioned the other day when we were talking about how art saved you, and that sort of, how that changed your life at that moment. I think it's for me, it's like the intensity of the process and having to concentrate on drawing. It's quite an intense when you're creating and you're in that moment.
Yeah.
Actually, that's kind of akin to like what it can be like in my mind sometimes. But I think it's better to channel that mind into something positive, and that way of thinking, that kind of ongoing. Like Sue, you said, creativity can often be overwhelming, and it can be if you've got that brain. I'm sure a lot of people will recognise that we've got all these ideas, and that's really exciting. It's a really positive thing, but it can be really exhausting and overwhelming and to live with. So I think just focusing in and really channeling that and into that intense period of productivity or creativity is a great way to manage that sort of brain, if that's what that your chemistry, because that's definitely how I think a lot of creative minds are wired like that. And that's, I don't know about you, but for me, I think I felt like for a long time that was a bad thing. Like it was a distraction. I needed to kind of, I wish I could just switch off that creative side of me and just concentrate on proper work or admin, or I don't know, stuff that's not interesting. But it's actually a real strength, and not everyone has creativity, but not everyone has the sort of that level of creativity. And I actually think it's kind of people like you and to not your duty to unleash it, but it kind of is, to inspire and empower other people to be creative. So should we just talk colour, because we are here to talk about colour and creativity, and also we need to talk about dressing up. So I don't know, do you Sue, the colour queen, should probably start. What does colour does colour mean to you, Sue?
Well, but color runs through my veins. I mean, I have a rainbow in my head. Colors. If I had to live in a neutral environment, wearing beige clothes, or even a little black dress with a tasteful string of pearls, I would die. I can't do that. And I love art. I am surrounded by art at home. The art of my friends. It is my life. When I go out, I can't bear to leave the art behind me. So I wrap myself in it. I make it into jewelry. I make it into kimonos. I walk out on the street and I am a walking collage, a walking gallery. And people either love it or they hate it. Mostly they love it. People are really, really nice. But every once in a while, somebody will say, oh, she just wants people to look at her. Yes, I do. Of course I want people to look at me. I am bringing art and color to your poor, benighted, neutral brain. Of course I want you to look at me. I want to change your life. I want you to get out of your beige cocoon and realize there's so much more to life. I don't understand neutral. I don't understand beige. I don't understand off-white. It makes me sick. My motto is don't wear beige. It might kill you. And I mean that seriously, absolutely seriously. So please, there is so much color phobia in the world. Please tell me why. I don't understand it. So my job, this is what I was born to do, is to put it in your face, in my face, in your face. And the color walk started, the color walks have become quite famous. Japanese TV came and filmed us. I mean, we are internationally famous, but it all started with the Thursday flea market at Old Spitalfields. I've been going there since the day it opened, maybe 15, 20 years ago. And I always dress like this. This is not for special occasions. This is always. And I would go there and little by little friends would join me and they also dressed like I do. And it became a thing. It became the color walk. And now it's I won't say it's formal because it's very informal, but it's become an actual thing. And I think it's the third. We haven't done it since pandemic, but it will start again. I'm hoping in mid-April, the third Thursday of every month. We meet, we walk, we talk, we sit and we have coffee. I believe in supporting small business. We buy things from the flea market for our work or to wear. My work would disappear without the flea market. And it's that's home. When we're with those people, we are home. There's love, there's color, there's mutual admiration. Nobody is stuck up about who or what they are. We're all unique, and yet we're all the same because we share this passion for art. And it is a passion. I'm very, very lucky to be living in this time and this place as soon as this pandemic is over, of course, because there are people out there. Nobody looks at me and says, when I'm in this environment, well, that's a strange woman. But yeah, I'm a strange woman, but I have lots of strange friends.
They're not strange, brilliant.
That makes us a powerful, powerful group. So it's the poor, it's the wearing art as fashion. It's just being brave and being who you are. You don't have to follow those rules that maybe your mother laid down or society lays down. Of course, if you work in a bank or if you work in an office, they may have rules about how you dress. But when you're finished with work, the hell with it. You can dress how you want. You can be who you want. And I'm very, very lucky to be in the place I am today. I can do what I want. I don't care. Yeah, I'm a lady. I can do what I want. Nobody's going to bother me. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. If they do, I don't listen.
I do think you're right, Sue, about as well. I was just saying about the community, the colour walk. So if anyone is in London, definitely something when we can come on down to that. Because I went for the first time when I met you, Sue, and I was really nervous because I thought, I'd seen pictures and I thought all these really super confident, colourful people would be maybe, I knew that a lot of you were artists, and even that as a non-professional art was quite intimidating. But actually, particularly, I think, Sue, I didn't expect you to have time for me or to even, and I don't know why, that's my own problem, but it's that thinking, well, these amazing, colourful, confident people are never going to want to speak to me. And then I put a lobster on my head and a blue dress and all was fine. But I went along and actually you were incredibly, and I think you are I've said this to a lot of people, your generosity of spirit and the time that you give people, you make everyone feel welcome and equal. And
we have time for everybody.
Black, you know, you are an open-armed, open soul, and I think that's just an incredible, the fact that you're here and giving your time on a Sunday afternoon and you've come back to your art flat, especially for this, and to share this moment with people is really evidence of that, huge.
You know, life is short, and the older you get, the shorter it is, and with COVID, it really feels very short, very scary. And what is life if not color, art, doing things for other people, making other people happy? Anybody who's not a little bit depressed, or even more depressed right now at this period of history, isn't paying attention. Between COVID and the rules and the pandemic and politics all over the world, it's horrendous and hideous. Why shouldn't we do something to make it a little bit better? We can't solve the problems of the world. Sometimes we can't even solve our own problems. You know, people are hurting financially, people are ill, but we can do something. We can do something to make other people happy, to boost our own spirits. This is what life should be about. And we have that power. And a lot of the power rests in art and color. And I just have to say this, there is no right or wrong way to make art. I think the non-professional artists are the ones who are the most excited. You do what you want to do. Nobody's going to tell you it's wrong. If they do, they are full of, excuse me, are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, you're allowed to swear.
They're full of shit. Full of shit if they try to tell you that do it this way, this is the right way, your way is the wrong way. Nonsense. Just let it out. And we will love it, and you will love it. You will find your own voice. Most of you out there today that we're talking to already know that. And some of you are very, very good. But it doesn't have to look like the person either. It just has to capture the spirit. This is my big message. It doesn't matter. You find your own voice, and that voice will be a good voice.
Yeah. I didn't even ask you to say that. Thank you. It doesn't have to look like a person to be a good portrait. Okay, thanks, Sue. I think that's the other thing. People go, well, you may not have, you have a couple of colourful things in your wardrobe. How do you get from that to being Sue Kreitzman? And there is no clear roadmap for becoming Sue. And we're all different and unique. But I think it's that sort of like what I try to do is just introduce more colour into my life where I can. So I can't change much about where I live at the moment, but I painted this wall yellow a couple of months after starting doing sessions on Zoom, and it immediately just transforms my energy and how I feel when I deliver these sessions, and how people react when they see it, and they see the art, but they also, the yellow, hopefully it communicates something, and it is just really, really powerful, huge mood booster. And I just can't wait to kind of get out there and dress up and go places, and also not to save. I think we tend to save dressing up for a special occasion, like you said, Momtaz, about actually life is a special occasion. Just every day is, to make every day special. That is a great, I'm not saying I love, and I've been wearing tracksuit bottoms quite a lot as well. And that's a nice thing to when you've just got those days where you don't want to dress up and make an effort. I think it's totally a great thing to just almost languish in that. If you're not feeling great, maybe you do want to put on a hoodie, and that's cool. But actually for the most of the time, I don't need to wait for nightclubs to be, or anywhere to be open for me to kind of dress up and walk around the park, with a fascinator on my head. So I'm going to do that next week. Okay, so then can you raise your hand if you've got a question, or just unmute yourself?
Hi.
Hey.
I was wondering to kind of anyone really whether the kind of love of colour goes into food as well, and the food you eat, and you embrace colour in that way.
Yeah. That's a good question. Okay, because food was my business for so many years, and it's not just that I love color; it's a visceral thing. You feel it right deep down, a visceral reaction to color and to art. And I don't do dinner parties, but I do lunch. People come to lunch. You have been to my house for lunch. Momtaz has, and it's so colorful. First of all, the colorful fruit and vegetables are very, very high in vitamins, which is good. But you look at it and you're just so happy to be eating color. And I want it to be gorgeous on the table. And also I want it to be delicious. So the more color, the better. There are some very brown foods that are fantastic. Mushrooms, Wild rice. Okay, I forgive them because they taste good. But there always has to be a lot of colorful stuff all around. Red peppers, squash of all sorts. It makes a huge difference, not just nutritionally, but mentally. So the more color in your food, the better. It's amazing. It makes a real difference to your life. Helen, you're going to come to my house for lunch as soon as the pandemic is over, and I'm going to pop your socks off with color.
Yes.
As far as food is concerned. You'll see.
I'm going to ask, so Chris has just asked a question on the chat. So, oh gosh, okay. Chris, how do you overcome my fear of getting, do you want to speak, Chris? Yeah. Do you want me to share so just about overcoming fear of getting colour wrong, because I think it's that sort of wanting to embrace colour but not knowing where to start. Do you have any sort of advice? Hi Chris, nice to see you. I work okay. Anyone got any where to start?
Yeah, it's easy. It's really easy. If you think you're a beige person, just add color little by little, and you start with a scarf, a pair of earrings.
Yay! Gorgeous.
Did something like this. They invited me to the college, the London College of Fashion, and I dressed, what's her name, who does the blog about That's Not My Age. She has a very well-known blog, and she is a very neutral person. I dressed the hell out of her, wow. But we started small, and she ended up wearing a kimono and an neckline, and she was very, very happy. But you don't have to go over the top. A little bit. See what makes you happy. If you just wear black or you just wear beige, you can zhuzh it up, and you'll find you'll want to zhuzh it even more. But I would start with a scarf, some earrings, some jewelry. You don't have to look like me. I am over the top, and that's the way I like to be. But you can add a little bit and see what makes you happy. See what your family and your friends say. Oh, that looks nice. Oh, you look good today. Wear a brighter lipstick. Start small. Yeah. And see how you feel, and take pictures of yourself and look at the pictures and see how it is. It really is easy, and color is addictive. Once you start with a little bit, you'll want more. And there is no right or wrong. That's what I always stress. Start small, see what you like, build on it, and you can't go wrong with color. You really can't. And talking about favorite color, it's not just one color. I love red, but it's the colors together. It's the contrast. My house is yellow and red, pink and orange, turquoise and purple. It's the mix of colors, the conversation they have with each other, the clash they have with each other. That's what's exciting. And that's what it's not just one color. It's all of them. Yeah. I want it to be vivid. I want it to be dramatic. I want it to be exciting.
And hands down, just 100%, every time you wear colour, people notice it, and it does make them smile.
Yes, it is. It's a very positive thing in life. As you say, it's free. Color is the great gift. If you're going to buy, you have to buy a piece of clothing, buy it in color. Or we go out, nature is so colorful. Nature is vulgar, you know? I always say vulgarity is fantastic in color. It's garish, it's vivid, it's fantastic. Let's embrace it. That's what life should be all about, really. Why tone yourself down? It's ridiculous.
So that was that. Like I said, if you're interested in looking at some of the artwork that was generated by that event, have a look at our website and our Instagrams, and also have a look at Sue, because she is marvellous, and Helen runs weekly live drawing classes on Zoom, and Momtaz has just written a book, I think, which you may have just mentioned. So I think her book, Hello Rainbow, is available to pre-order. It's out in October. My book is out now, The Art of Self-Love. And obviously there are loads of events happening on Sketch Appeal every week. So yeah, come and join the fun. And wear colour. Wear colour. And don't wear beige, it might kill you. And everything else that Sue says. Amen.